Hello and welcome back to the Mahmood Show, the podcast where we discuss business, self-improvement and finance. But in today's video, I'm alone. And the reason why is I'm answering one of my most asked questions about me. Ahmad, how did you land all these guests? What do you have that other people don't that allows you to land such guests? Before I get into this, a lot of people ask me, how did you get this person on your podcast? And how do we network, And we'll start the video by saying that if you really want to have the best network, the best thing to do is just to work really hard. Because when you work really hard, you build a successful business. And when you're a successful person, everyone wants to network with you. Now, one of the main reasons why I've been able to get this podcast off the ground is because of my ability to add value to other people and make sure that other people want me in their corner, so they do me a favor by coming on this podcast. Now, yes, the ability to network is definitely helpful to bring on these guests, but when you start getting into the circles of the most successful people in the world, such as billionaires like the ones I've had on my podcast, Elon Musk's father, etc., it goes much more than just providing value upfront. It's about being someone that's liked, being someone that's charismatic, being someone that has a charm where others feel this magnetic energy and they're drawn towards you. So I want to start this video by saying that having charisma or being someone that people want to have around them is one of the most underrated skills you could have. So how have I been able to get these opportunities time and time again? Well, you don't get into high level circles. You become the type of person who belongs in those circles. So it's not about getting in there, it's about being a high level person. And that is through charisma, which Oxford Dictionary defines as inspiring devotion in others. It actually uses the word devotion, which is such a strong word. It almost means like love, even more than love. At a very young age, I realized that one of the main things which was holding me back was me. You can imagine the nervous kid I was. When I was 13, I used my social skills to be driven around in a Bugatti with a very famous YouTuber, Mo Vlogs, which got 15 million views, and start the relationships which built my influencer marketing agency, which today turns around millions of dollars. After that, I successfully completed collaborations with every single big name you can think of. Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Tyga, KSI, Andrew Tate, Iman Gadzhi, and the list goes on and on and on. Every big celebrity to every big YouTuber, I've been around, and most of them I've been able to strike very large business deals with and grow our influencer agency as the #1 agency which every brand wants to use to connect to celebrities and influencers. Now that we've covered the basics that everyone already knows, that there's no such thing as a free lunch and you have to provide some value up front, now how do you make successful people respect you? Every individual judges you before you speak. Your presence, status signals, and energy dictate whether they want to know you further or not, whether they see you valuable or forgettable. This leads me to my first point, the power of reputation. Pre-selling yourself before you even arrive. Now, in order to start off on a strong foot, your name should circulate rooms before you even step in. You should be someone who's talked about. Now, one of the best ways you can do that is by gaining mutual connections. On Instagram, when you open an Instagram page and it's a new page and you see it has a bunch of mutuals, a bunch of your friends follow it, that always increases the chance that you follow that page. So first thing I would do is think about the type of people that follow you. Try to have as many people following you as possible that might be important. Now, obviously, that doesn't work by just being like, hey, yo, follow me. That doesn't work like that. That's exactly how you get people to unfollow you. That's exactly how you get disrespected. So it's important to get people to follow you, but it's important to know how to do it. It's by being charismatic. So here's where personal brand comes in. How good is your social game? How good is your Instagram? I recently had a bunch of questions on my Instagram because I recently acquired a username 1A on Instagram. So the number 1 and the letter A. And I bought the username for a very large sum. You can guess in the comments, but in dirhams, it's 6 figures for sure. But the way I saw it was, number 1, it's an investment. It's probably rise in price. But number 2, your social proof is everything. It's how people judge you as a person before they've met you. If your Instagram looks like you're someone important, they'll think you're someone important. Now, I did this. I faked it till I made it. When I was 13, I was a broke kid living almost in the slums. But my Instagram was popping off. If you scroll down on my Instagram, you'll see I have pictures with the coolest cars and the coolest people, and I seemed like the richest kid in town. In fact, I had the rich kid London pages and all these pages posting me, thinking that I was some massive millionaire. Now, that worked for me because at that time I was trying to build my personal brand and sign influencers, and having that reputation preceding me always helped. Your name should circulate around the room before you step in. The easiest way to do that is to have a mutual connection. Mention you to the people you want to meet. Of course, this isn't possible everywhere, so that's where you leverage a strong personal brand. Showing your value through social media, money, health, fun, friends, lifestyle, all of that needs to be shown on Instagram. Don't be shy to take photos when you're out and about. Try to get pictures. I know in the moment it feels cringe, but when you're starting off, it's really important to build some kind of social proof on your account. I have editors and I tell them sometimes when they come on call with me, take a picture, take a screenshot, use this as social proof. I don't mind. I've been that kid that needs social proof. I tell them, take a picture. I see so many times people who are young, who are so cocky and they think they're so important, and they pass on opportunities to document a significant moment that could have helped them just because of their own ego or because they thought they were too cool or they didn't want to be cringe. Let me tell you something. Cringe is just being different. If you want to rub shoulders with 99% of the people and you want to fit in with everyone, then live like them. But if you want to be that 1%, then you have to act like the 1% do. You think it wasn't cringe the first time I was walking around malls with a vlogging camera when I made my first vlog when I was 13 years old? You think it was cool to walk around with a camera? No, I was getting laughed at in my comments. In my school, they used to make fun of me. But I knew that if I wanted to be different and if I wanted to live a different life, then I have to do different shit. Anyways, leverage social proof. That's my second point. Be seen with high level and successful people online first. If people see you with successful and high level people, they automatically assume you're one of them. This was one of the first things I learned as I started getting more important people on the podcast, even more important people reaching out to me to do the podcast. podcast. It's a snowball effect, and the starting point is the hardest. Instagram shows you mutuals to everyone, so garner big influencers to follow you, and people will be surprised they follow you, and you'll be forming an impression before you even meet them. Now, thirdly, one of the things which I think really helped me in my life when it comes to networking or being charismatic is being the type of person who gifts. If I look back in my life, one of the biggest advices that changed my life was being someone that gives gifts. You cannot imagine the amount of times I've given a gift to someone and it's come back to me times 100. It's the similar concept of adding value first and the law of reciprocity, but it works like a charm. And yes, there have been many times where I've given gifts and I've got nothing in return, and that's fine. That's part of the game. If you're gonna give a gift without strings attached and without having them do anything in return for that gift, then you have to understand that some people might not do anything in return, and that's just how it is. But 9 times out of 10, people do return it, and they return it significantly more. And even if they don't give you anything in return, which you should not be waiting for, they will hold your name to the highest regard if you're mentioned about behind your back. They will talk about you like you're the nicest, coolest person in the world, and they won't even mention the gift because people don't like to say that, oh, he gave me this, but they just talk great things about you, which is amazing for you. Part of that comes under the fact of paying bills. When I go out with my friends, it's always a fight for the bill, and I always try to pay it. It doesn't matter who I'm with, whether they're a billionaire, I'm always the one who's gonna try to pay the bill, because at the end of the day, like I started this video by saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch. What has value is worth paying for, and oftentimes what's free is actually the most expensive because you pay for it in other ways. Be the one who pays. Again, even if you don't get anything in return, the amount of good karma you get in your life, the amount of blessings you get from God for being that person who pays first is immense. Literally, I've always found that if I'm the one who's paying, things just work out better for me. It saved me from big disputes where I would have lost large amounts of money, or it's made every single person that meets me someone who wants to help me. The amount of times I get calls from people saying like, Ahmad, this guy you have to have on your podcast. Ahmad, this guy, I pitched him your team services and they want you as a client. It's unbelievable. Just by paying a few restaurant bills. And I know in that moment you feel like you're the loser if you pay, but believe me, you're the winner. Be the type of person who takes pride to pay. Be the type of person who's nice about it. Be the person who fights for it. Don't be one of these European bill splitting people. In Dubai, the tradition is it's always a fight for the bill. It's always the hospitable person. And let me tell you something, the hospitable people are the ones that benefit the most in the end. Now lastly, people don't hang out with you because of who you are. They hang out with you because of how you make them feel. So oftentimes when people want to be around you, it's because they enjoy who they are when they're with you. There's things about your personality or there's things about what you say that makes them feel like it's bringing the best side out of them. A lot of people call this social engineering. When they're around you, they feel like they're the fucking man. And this isn't you trying to kiss their ass, again, like I said, but it has to be genuine. If you want to seem interesting, you have to be interested in what they say. Never be the type of person who has to one-up someone else in a conversation. When they say, I went to the beach on the weekend, you're like, oh, that's cool, last week I was in Italy. Never be the type of person who tries to one-up someone else in a conversation. That always makes you seem like you're insecure and weak and insignificant. Never be that person. Be the type of person who, despite doing something cooler, acts like the thing that they have done is much cooler. Like what they're going through is much more difficult. You don't need them to understand your pain. Why? Why does it benefit you? Let them think that they're the ones who are going through the hard life and you're just the jolly person. Because ultimately, people like people who are jolly. Save your feelings for your therapist. They won't help you. Write in a journal, and then when you're done, crush out the paper and throw it in the bin. That's the best way to get thoughts out of your head. Most times when people hear your problems, half of them don't care and half of them are happy you have them. So save them. Unless you really trust someone, you know them for multiple years, save them. To finish off this point about gaining respect, here are some things which instantly kill your presence immediately. Over talking. Low status people always try to impress with words. High status people impress with presence and personality. Seeking validation. Asking people to be invited to stuff. Showing that you desire their friendship more than they desire yours. If you're not invited to something, never ask. Trust me, it might feel bad in that moment to not be invited, but when they realize that you're the one who didn't ask, after a while, maybe at that event, they will feel your absence and they'll make it a point to invite you next time. And if you want to go that time, you get to decide. Next is being too nice. Nobody likes the person who's too nice. People can tell when you're always too polite, too sorry, too pleased, too hello, happy, like, can you? No, be direct, be transparent. Tell people, look, this is how it is. This is what I'm saying. Be honest about yourself. Be honest about your thoughts. Give it to people clear. Cut the bullshit. Another thing is being fake. Honestly, this sounds like the most cliche advice, but people can really tell when you're not authentic. One of the best things which you can do to improve how you're perceived is to genuinely be yourself in all your weird quirks. Some of the coolest people I know are the most quirkiest. They have the most weirdest personalities, and because they've embraced those, it makes them so much more fun to be around. Be unapologetically yourself. Think to yourself who you are, what do you like, what do you feel, and embody those. Never mend yourself to what someone else likes. If 20 people in a room say they love this and you don't, say I don't like it. That's what makes you unique. And if you notice, most people who are successful or who are very liked, it's usually the same type of people. They are very unapologetically themselves, to the point where no matter how controversial it gets. That's another thing. People think that being loved and being hated are two opposites. It's actually not the case. In fact, being loved and being hated are both on this side of the spectrum. What's on this side is being liked. So sometimes the worst thing you can be is being liked. Love and hate are actually very close to each other. If you notice, with every person who's very loved, he's equally very hated by another side. It's always balanced. But the type of people that are liked, they're neither loved nor hated. No one has any passion towards them. Nobody cares that much about them. Nobody gives a shit too much about them. But for every person that really loves you for your belief, another person will really hate you, because those people have bold views. They're almost provocative, but they find their crowd, and that crowd loves them. Don't be that vanilla guy that tries to fit in with everybody. The people who say yes to everything, say yes to nothing. It's those no's when they say they don't like something, or when they don't appreciate something, or they don't love something, which makes the times when they do say they love it, or do say they like it, makes people believe what they're saying. Most times when you're actually honest about what you feel, other people actually feel the same way, but they just are afraid to say it. And when you say it, they like you more because now they can admit what they like as well, and they will agree with you. It's very interesting. If you start to be bold and start to have very strong claims, you start to build up a lot of genuine audience. So that's basically something I've noticed with a lot of successful people who have like the biggest network. For example, if you look at like Donald Trump or Andrew Tate or whoever, they're very strong personalities, you know? They like what they like, they hate what they hate. And that's just a super interesting observation. So yeah, people can really tell very quickly when you're not being genuine. Like if they see you faking something, saying you like something when you don't, or saying you don't like something when you do, it comes across. I don't know how, but for some reason people can tell. It sounds very cliche, but don't be fake. Don't filter your personality. Be as unapologetically yourself as possible. Everyone is a little weird, and we have more things in common than with other people than we think. And when you say it, you make them feel okay that they have that same weird thing, and they start to like you more because they start to see you as a genuine person, as an authentic person. The power triangle, and this is why people with influence gravitate towards you. People seek out those who bring power, access, or unique personality. Those are the three things. Ideally, you need at least one of those three, but the more the merrier. The powerful person, for example, can you directly help them gain influence, make money, or solve a problem? Access. Do you know people who they want to know? Can you connect them to people that are interesting for them? Do those people trust your recommendations? This is also very interesting. Be very careful who you recommend. So make it clear with that person from the beginning that I don't know what this person might do. So that's a very interesting point you should take into account, is you have a recommendation score. So what I would do is I would only recommend people who I really trust, or I would preface everything by saying, here's a warning. If in case it doesn't go well, I don't want to know about, you know? Number 3, unique personality. Do you have specific insights or things that you know which they might not have heard of, like hot takes that you have which they haven't thought about? Can you think differently from the rest of the herd? Do you say things or ask questions that stimulate people's minds? I had this friend, and every time he went out with a group of friends, everyone loved him because he always had like riddles or like team games. Like he'd ask a riddle. He'd say, all right guys, let me ask you guys a riddle. Riddle me this. And for like 30 minutes, everyone tried to think about this riddle. But he would bring these really cool riddles to every gathering, and everyone used to miss him when he wasn't there. When I say unique personality, you have to like be a character, you know? Someone who people enjoy being with. And again, it has to be authentic, right? You can't just make up a character, but you have a character deep down within you. You're unique in your own way. Be that unique person, and it's a character in its own. We all are intrinsically very bold, unique characters and personalities, but we just try to blend those differences so that we can appear the same as everyone else. There's also something interesting about this called your information diet, and this is something that I learned from Mr. Beast in his document. Now, what is an information diet? Things that you consume is like your information diet, the same way things you eat is like your food diet. Now, the more things that you consume in terms of content, the more it shapes the way you think. So focus on your information diet. If you want to be a unique character, then, and you're already funny, then make sure you don't lose your natural innate funniness by reading code all day. Focus on the type of person who you're going to be in the future, and be that person from today, you know? Think about that future version of yourself and wake up and act as if you're that person today. That's honestly the best advice, because that way people respect you as if you're that person. You'll walk, act, talk, work, grind as if you're that person, and it will just be a matter of time until you actually become that person. So today, think about that type of person. Imagine it, close your eyes, envision what car you're driving, what you're wearing, the people you're with, your wife, your kids, the office you're working in, and then when you open your eyes, pretend you are that person. Walk, talk, grind, act, fight, think, read, strive as if you're that person. All the stuff which I mentioned previously is all very important. There's a few things which are overlooked, which is just the basic stuff. So first of all, clothing. The basics are wearing nice clothes. So leave all the logos. Don't wear all those flashy logos all the time. Don't buy fake clothes. Those look cheap. They look tacky. They're not even nice. I get all my clothes from Massimo Dutti. That's my favorite store. Mango and Massimo Dutti. They have the best clothes. Now, for speech, you want to talk slowly. A lot of people talk really fast, and it looks really desperate. Like they are constantly under pressure and they talk super fast. So what you want to do is talk as slow as possible. Let there be pauses. Don't use filler words. Don't use don't use I know it's difficult, but over time you'll get better. If you notice it, you can stop doing it. So let there be pauses. Be fine with silence and take your time. Say the message slowly. Sometimes being quiet makes people focus more on what you're saying. Now for posture, I mean, again, these are basics. Stay calm. Don't fidget. Some people shake their legs incessantly. I do it sometimes myself, but try not to fidget. Try to be still, calm, as collective as possible. I'll tell you something interesting. These glasses which I'm wearing, they're not numbered. They're blue light glasses. They're Cartier, but they're basically just for fun. But I feel like when I wear them, I look smart. So honestly, it's crazy how people will judge you. I've noticed when I go into meetings with my clients and I wear this, they take me so much more seriously than when I don't. So there's certain things that people have just been hardwired to see. When it comes to looks, you have to sell the image of yourself. But when it comes to what you say, be fully authentic, you know, be as yourself as possible, right? But when it comes to looks, as in like if you being yourself is, you mean you wear pajamas and you don't comb your hair and you don't take care of yourself, then don't be yourself when it comes to your looks. Take care of yourself. When it comes to your personality, be yourself. Say things exactly how you think. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Now, I don't want to lean in too much into this alpha male advice for too long, but just remember that high level people want to be friends with only high level people. Once you tune into the frequency of being naturally confident and naturally composed, other people will notice that. They'll notice this guy's secure in himself and they'll feel magnetized towards you. Now let's cover some mistakes that people have when it comes to this part. Number one, they try too hard to flex the network instead of adding value to it. So a lot of times we name drop people. It's good to name drop people, but you have to know how you do it. You can't just be like, oh, I know the owner of this place. You look terrible. You know what that person who's you're talking to is probably gonna think? That you're gonna do the same thing with their name in other conversations. Stop doing that. It's good to name drop, but you have to do it in a subtle way. And don't do it immediately. Let them talk about the person. Let's say you're talking about a restaurant and you know the owner. Don't mention it until like a good 4 or 5 minutes have passed about the conversation. Be like, yeah, the owner was someone I knew for a while. He's a Moroccan guy. You know, but you have to make it natural, you know? Number 2, asking for favors before proving your worth. Never be the first one to ask for a favor unless you're offering some type of value first. If you want to ask for a favor, first provide value to that person. People hate people who ask for favors. Never ask for anything. People only want to help those who they think don't need their help. The moment they think you need your help, they don't want to help you anymore. That's the sad reality of it. Being overly available. People respect people who value their time. If you're always available, that means you don't have any respect for your time. That means you have nothing better to do. People will notice that. So don't be too overly available for anyone. I think it's law 16 from 48 Laws of Power where he talks about Robert Greene using absence to increase respect and honor. So once you've established your personality and established your character in a group, use absence to increase your status. If you're too around all the time, you're too available, then you don't have any power. Make yourself seem mostly heard, rarely seen. Also, side note, don't be too chronically online. People always notice those people who consistently send them memes, consistently see their messages when they send them like on DM. Don't be so much of a social media junkie. People can tell. Alright, number 3, I want to talk about the charisma strategy that turns casual introductions into powerful relationships. So charisma isn't just about collecting contacts. It's about developing who you are. So without going to basic stuff like not to be someone who scrolls or to be someone who goes to the gym, here is the process that I started to make sure I genuinely vibe with people. Also remember, you won't get along with everyone you meet, and that's fine. A lot of people are dickheads. You don't want to get along with everyone. Remove any need to feel validated. A lot of people aren't gonna like you. That's fine. Speech is silver and silence is gold. The best reply is no reply. Honestly, last thing on this list is being self-centered. People hate other people who are too self-centered. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have an ego. Sometimes it's good to have a little bit of ego so that you respect yourself. A lot of times people will like you more if they see you respecting yourself a lot. If you give yourself respect, they'll give you respect. So you can't not respect yourself, but at the same time, you don't want to seem arrogant. You don't want people to feel like they can't be themselves around you. You want to allow them to confide in you, to be vulnerable around you. So for those reasons, you have to allow people to open up to you. And the more that someone trusts you with, usually the more they will like you, because now you know a part of them which nobody else does. So, you know, it's interesting. There's a lot of stuff you can do with body language. I can make a whole video about all the stuff that I'm saying in relation to body language. Most people try too hard to be liked by influential people. People who are high status aren't looking for fans. They're looking for peers and for collaborators who are on their level, who can work with them, alongside them, who can brainstorm ideas with them, and they can add value to each other's lives. Let's get into 5 quick-fire steps that you can do to improve immediately. Number 1, start intentionally hanging around people who have the type of vibe that you want to have. Vibrant, energetic, positive people. That vibe will rub off onto you. Don't hang out with gloomy, negative people. It will destroy you. You will become that person before you know it. You probably are that person already and you just don't know it. Number 2, be conscious and present and implement these strategies from this video into your life. Number 3, be authentic. Be yourself unapologetically. Number 4, start speaking to new people on the street that you meet randomly and try to hold a good conversation with them. I love this. It makes your day feel so much better. Number 5, have good positive energy. Always try to find the bright side. Obviously, someone gives you bad news, you don't want to start giving them the bright side. They probably want to be sad for a bit, but allow them to look at the bright side slowly. Number 6, next time you hear something funny, write it down. Now I know what you think. Why are you gonna write down these things? It helps a lot. I've written down a lot of jokes, a lot of good quotes, and I had them all on my phone, and they've helped me throughout my life. That whenever something comes up, I can say a nice quote that describes the situation. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's interesting, but it always impresses whoever I'm with, and I always enjoy it because it helps me formulate my thoughts. And that's all, guys. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your time. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like, leave a comment, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you stayed to this end of the video, leave a comment that says the word Jonathan, and I swear to God, I'm gonna give you a gift. A few of you, not all of you, but if you reach the end, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Take care. See you guys. Bye.